My name's Jye Frasca and I'm playing Robert Cohen in Fiesta. For me personally, I was involved with the show from the reading, and Alex, the director, actually asked me not to read the book because the book's a lot from Jake's perspective, and he talks quite down about Robert. Then once I knew I was actually going to do the show, of course I read the book, and I found it really interesting from Robert's perspective because it felt like, well, I read it from his perspective as well, so I tried to kind of see that I felt like the characters were actually quite jealous that he'd been with Brett, and you know that he'd had success with his writing, and so we've really tried to really adapt that kind of sense of issue onto the stage version. I think Alex has done just the most tremendous job. It's a timeless classic, and she's been able to bring it very intimately into a space that I think people will be able to go on the journey of each character throughout the show, and I think she's done a really tremendous job.
Speaking about successful writing, what is it about Ernest Hemingway's work, particularly this novel, that you think has made it so enduringly effective on audiences?
I think people can relate to the characters. I think there's a little bit of Jake in everyone. I think there's a lot of Robert in me, personally. I think people share his sense of just honesty and truth and emotion. I think there's a little bit of Brett in everybody, and I think everyone has that sense of youth about Pedro Romero that they can relate to. So I think in our story, as the show version, as well as Hemingway's actual book, I think because you can relate so deeply to the characters, it makes it almost like you are one of those characters whilst you're reading it or whilst you're seeing the play.
For people who aren't familiar with the book, can you maybe just tell us a little bit more about your character, who he is, and what excited you about getting inside a role like that?
Yeah, sure. Well, Robert's a former lightweight boxing champion from Princeton. He's Jewish, and he's been teased quite extensively when he was at Princeton about being a Jew, which has affected him and the way that he sees himself. And he's gone and started living in Paris, and through that experience, he's written a book. He's had success with that book, and so he's very much at the time that we start the play, really making up with his ego, kind of down deep. He has a lot of torment still about his own person. And then as the play unravels, I think you see those deep-seated torments come out. Personally, I think the music's, there's four actors in the play, but I think the music's really, the heartbeat of each of us. They are, all three of them, Danny, Phil and Paul, are tremendous musicians, and they've really taken the time during rehearsals to bring certain sounds and instruments that are either one of our heartbeats, or that builds a tension, or that builds a memory, or something like that. And I think it's been really important. And they're like the fifth voice in the play. And I think without them, it just wouldn't be the same. So it's been amazing to have them with us, and they're really good lads. They really are. I think with people who have read the novel, the stage show is different, and I think that's a brilliant thing, because I think if it wasn't different, there's no point in doing it. And I think that people that don't necessarily, or haven't read the book, or don't know the book, I think when they come see the show that they probably will want to read the book. So I think what's beautiful about it is that both the show and the book complement each other. So if you're unfamiliar about it, then you will actually be interested in one or the other. Or hopefully, if you do know the book and you come see the show, that you maybe see the characters in a slightly different way than what you might have interpreted them for yourself. But there's a lot of great stuff in the show, so hopefully when people come, they'll enjoy it.